For some seniors, the change of the seasons can have an effect, as people can feel more prone to depression. PCN stopped into the Kingston Council on Aging to learn about what seasonal depression is and ways to combat it.
Seasonal depression is actually called seasonal affective disorder, and it is a type of depression that happens with the seasons. As it gets later in the season, in the fall, and the lights change, people have a tendency to have a change actually in their chemicals in their brains, and they feel more depressed and more sad. And it is a time frame. It doesn't last all year. As the light gets lighter, which it is now, and time goes on towards the spring, that feeling of depression will lift. Combating seasonal depression can be done in numerous ways. Sometimes people are so depressed that they actually need medication during that time period, and it's not something they need to stay on for long. And that will help lift their mood a little bit. But usually it has to do with the changes of the light. So turning lights on before it gets dark is a really good thing to do, in addition to activities. Later in the day, if you can find something to do, get out, talk to family and friends. Don't feel like you're so confined to the house, because a lot of the times the weather changes and people don't get out as much. It really becomes something that you have to do and something that you have to make yourself do instead of just kind of stay in pajamas and, you know, eat bonbons and watch TV. With the seniors, it can be more difficult for depression during the winter months. People feel more prone to feeling the darker times when the times change and it's dark at 4. The light time, particularly if somebody has dementia, it's very important to keep the environment light and keep the activities going at night, or they may become more agitated as time goes on and more depressed. And with seniors, they're more isolated. So if they're not getting out or they can't drive anymore, the days become very long. And you will see that more common in the seniors than you will in younger people who can choose to get out and do things and may be more healthy. Sometimes it's just the chemicals in the brain and the way the person's designed alone. I know some people where they are very active and very healthy and have no signs and symptoms of depression during the year at all, but as the fall comes and the winter comes, it kicks in. So sometimes it's just the chemical makeup of the way a person is. Other times it can be the time of year signals being closed more in, and more depression can happen that way. So they kind of expect it because they can't do the same activities.
I think reaching out to other people, having conversations about it is probably the #1 thing you can do. If you want to go somewhere and you can't drive there, find somebody who can drive you. We have vans available, there's volunteer drivers, just to keep motivated and get you out of the house. I think that's really a key component because it brings such an isolation in the wintertime when it's dark out. A lot of people who normally drive don't drive. It's cold, you don't want to go outside in the cold. Have somebody come in. Use a service that'll come in and sit with you for those periods of time. Anything like that to keep you busy and active. I think that no matter what community you come from, that the senior centers or councils on aging, whichever you prefer to call them, are a great resource for combating these types of things. There's so much that we have available and so many things that we can refer you to, whether it be counseling, in-home care, anything like that. Just call and ask the question rather than think that there's nothing you can do about it. And especially for grown children, you know, why watch your parents get upset when there's things that you can reach out and do for them?